Kick it.
It's Candy. She's just so candy.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Candy with the Candy Talk Show. Yay! Candy Internet Talk Show. Welcome to www.candyproductions and the number 2 biz. You can see this full entire episode, previous episodes, and future episodes. Woo, okay, all right. Let me recorrect that. Future episodes. All right, so I want to thank the Pad Social Club for allowing us to drop in and do our thing here. So let's give it up for the Pad Social Club. All right, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the history for the Candy Internet Talk Show, Internet Radio Talk Show, whichever one, it's the same. I want to let you know that we previously started this program a few years ago. We had a couple of co-hosts. That would be DJ Silver Fox and Fly Girl TW. Well, God has put them in a different direction, and that's okay because they're on to some bigger and better things. So we want to just say congratulations and hope you guys succeed in whatever you want to do. But right now, we're going to bring it on back. So it's just me. But guess what? I'm not by myself. I have some extra special guest co-hosts, and the person that's to my left.
Get the left right.
Introduce yourself here.
I am Terry. I am honored to be here with Indie Best Internet Talk Show. Look.
This is, you know what, this is wrong, it's uncut, nothing scripted, and that's the fun thing about this show, okay? So I'm also going to have a couple of guest special hosts come up too as well. We're going to introduce them, and to my back we have, I think you guys know this gentleman over here, you've seen him before. This is Elijah.
Yes. In the house, y'all.
And as we go along, we're going to continue to introduce our special guests and some of our audience members. So, all right, tell you what, everybody ready for the topic today?
We're ready.
All right.
We're ready. The whole
so
country's
we all know,
ready.
It's a little bit of a touchy subject for some of us, and some of us, we don't care. We are now in the era of our new president-elect, Donald Trump. Woo, okay. I don't know what to say about that. So we're just going to actually just open up the talk show today and just let everybody know what's on your mind. For me personally, I don't care one way or another. As long as whoever's in position can direct us to where we need to go in the future in the most positive manner. That's just one of my thoughts. How about you, Terry?
Well, you said you don't care as long as the person in position can direct us in the right place to go. Well, I think it's a little time, Candy, to start caring because the person that's in position may not be directing us in the path that we should go.
But is that my fault?
Now, that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. That's not the country's opinion because they picked the dude. He's the president-elect, Donald Trump. But, in essence of what's going to happen to you and your community and what we're going to do. A lot of us, we don't even respect the fact that he's the president-elect. You got many that are saying he's not my president.
But
when it comes to the paper and where you living at, if you living in the United States of America, guess what? Donald Trump is your president.
But at the end of the day, we also had that same point of view when President Obama was elected.
That's what I was going to say. There was plenty of people who didn't appreciate the fact that Obama, but just like what happened in Obama, you have this black man, and there was plenty of white people secretly went and voted him in. Ain't nothing different than today. You had this white man, and I'm pretty sure he got enough black votes that got him in there today. They didn't say it out loud, but somebody... Might even be somebody in here to vote for old Trump. You never know. He's here. The numbers don't lie. That he's here. So, and it's beyond what happened to Gore. It's not about the electoral votes. He got them too.
So tell me something. Why is it that we as colored tone people, why do we always feel that that same race has to vote automatically for that same race? So why do we have to, why is it a touchy subject when we know that some of our African American community people and some of our Indian people and some of our Hispanic people, why is it that we feel like they needed to vote for Hillary and not for Trump?
You know what? You know what, Candy? I think that's just a part of the lack of knowledge on the generation today, because historically, the Democratic Party was not for the African American. But somewhere down the line, we black folks just did what grandma did and what grandma did and what grandpa did. And so we all started voting for the Democratic Party. And if you want to know the truth about it, the Democratic Party was the one that kept us in chains. They were the ones who developed the political system to keep us down as a black people, as a Native American people. Don't you know that the Democratic Party almost annihilated the whole Native American people, and they were on the process of doing it to us. Now, mind you, we messed up because we got some people up in there and we just putting them with the Republican Party. But in all actuality, the Republican Party was the party that started setting the black people free in a lot of political errors. So a lot of folks don't know. This generation don't know that.
But see, why is it, okay, so then why
so
is
it wasn't about
Hillary?
Hillary.
Why is it such a problem then? If you state now some facts then why is it such a problem that you did have people, again, I'm going to reinstate. If you had Hillary, who was a Democrat, and then you had Trump, who was Republican, why is it that we have such a problem, again, if we're trying to say that the Democrats wasn't for our people, why do we have that problem still, that a lot of our people voted for Trump?
Candy, I think that's something we need to take to Elijah.
Okay, Elijah, I know you got something to speak
we
on.
We need to take that to Elijah. Bring Elijah in the house. What's up with that, Elijah?
Hello, check 1 2. All right. Just to go back to the initial point that you made about the Republican Party and how they were the ones to set black people free, which is not all the way accurate.
Break it down.
During the 1800s, you had a lot of pushback from the North. Okay, this country was divided North and South. When it came to the enslavement of black people, it gave the South unprecedented profits because they didn't have to pay labor. Because they had a lot of profits, they had a lot of cash flow flowing through the South. As the North began to lose financial power in the U.S., they decided to push back against slavery because slavery was why the South was actually progressing financially.
Free labor.
Yes,
basically.
Free labor. Yeah. So the Republican Party freeing the slaves was not about the progression of black people. It was about the attack on the financial growth of the South. That's why you see the Electoral College the way it is. If you notice that in the highly populated areas, such as, on the East Coast, you may have a very small state, but they have 10, 15, 20 electoral votes.
That's right.
Because the North wanted to continue to hold some type of power over the political process. So when we look at the Republican Party, it has never, ever been about the progression of black people. The abolitionists were actually there to really equal out their financial platform of the South. Also, truth be told, the abolitionist movement was created not because they wanted to see black people free, but because the white people were having their sons and daughters employed by going on these slave routes and trips, and they were dying on these ships because of the conditions. So the abolitionist movement wasn't concerned about black people, was actually concerned about the white lives that were being lost on these voyages. So the political party has never been about black people. When we talk about this election cycle, we look at Trump and Hillary. a lot of the rhetoric from Donald Trump wasn't necessarily targeted towards African Americans or black people in general, but we understand the process of hate as he targeted Latinos, Mexicans, he targeted homosexuals, he targeted a lot of different groups, and we understand whenever there's a spotlight held on a group of people, we are always in the mix or
That's
next.
Right. Somewhere in the mix.
And I think the pushback with the vote for Hillary was because of her legacy of enslavement of black people. When we talk about the super predators and the 3 strikes and out bill that was put into legislation, co-signed by her and her husband. So when we talk about this election cycle, a lot of us didn't go out and vote, but we missed the boat. Because if you look back over the last 4 years, all of this violence towards black people by the police, they go unprosecuted, unindicted. This is something that is handled on your local level of elections.
Okay. Look, I'm going to continue that right there, but let's go ahead and take a break. Okay, Elijah, and then you can come back with your remaining thoughts on that, and then we can see what
Elijah opened up some stuff, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah,
well,
he opened some. We got some more comments from Mr. Elijah here on the Candy Internet Talk Show.
Okay.
You stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Candy Internet Radio Talk Show, or the Candy Talk Show. I don't care whichever one it is, the same one. A lot of us remember us from the Candy Internet Radio Talk Show. All of our newcomers, you can call us the Candy Internet Talk Show. Either way, just please make sure you log on to www.candyproductions2.biz. Okay, so Elijah took us to break last time, and he had said some really great points, and I believe that our co-host here, Terry, had something to say about that.
Well, you know, Elijah broke it down about the foundation of how our political system is really built. And this is a key point because there's lack of knowledge broken up in our generations. Well, why don't people know this? Elijah knows it, but does Pookie down the street know it? Does Ray Ray know it? Did my grandma, was she privy to this information? So, you know, Elijah brought up a lot of good points. Needless to say, today in 2016, let Bill Maher tell we have Orange Orangutan as our president. So, and this man has become elected, and he not only talks about women in disparaging ways, he's been caught on TV talking about it's okay to just walk up, and I'm going to keep it frank, because you told me to keep it the way it is.
Keep it real.
He walks up to women, he's back now. Now, mind you, this is wild. This is the image of the president that we got today. He's married. He's been married, and during the time that he got caught on this TV show, talking about grabbing another woman's pussy, it was given away like, oh, that's just locker room talk, you know, even though they weren't in a locker room, they was with a bunch of TV people, you know, talking about locker room stuff. So not only that, he's talking about different ethnic. Now, mind you, Elijah brought up a good point. Our president-elect specifically talk about Latinos. He talks about women. He talks about just people that are living in bad neighborhoods, the African Americans, you know, that's you and I, the African Americans. Now, mind you, he couldn't get elected if he came out front with his ulterior motives. These niggas got to go. No, he couldn't do that. He couldn't do that. But I'm telling you who you got as your president. Elijah brought it up. I'm telling you, he couldn't say that outright.
You know,
he couldn't say it.
You brought up a couple of things where you said, number one, a lot of people talking about what he said behind camera, you know, closed doors.
Yeah.
Why can't we take that as normal locker room talk? Because you and I both know that that's what men do. They talk like that when we're not around.
But so we don't want to hear it.
He's still a man.
He's still a man. He's still a man. And I'm sure Obama gets off when he looks at big booties on the video too, or he probably got somebody, but we don't want to hear it. If you're a man in position and you represent the country, not just a company, he brags about how he's built these companies, ain't got nothing to do with the country. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
Okay,
it.
you may not want to hear it, but at the end of the day, what
well,
you're doing is taking a part of him
because
away,
that's
which
part
he's
of
a
it.
man. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what they
Isn't that supposed to be
And
given?
we would have
Isn't
never
that
known
supposed
about
to be
that.
given?
But listen, we would have never known about that had he not been running for president. So would we have seen him in a different light if he didn't say that?
Can I say something?
Sure.
We
have a question,
We got
a comment from the
Bring the
audience.
audience in. Come on, baby.
I'm Kimmy. I just
Go
want to
ahead,
say
Kimmy.
that if it's okay to say like we understand men are that way, but men should respect women first and foremost.
Kimmy, let
Especially
me tell
if
you
you're the
something real
president.
quick. This is a man's world, and at the end of the day, no matter how
I don't
many
think
times
so.
we want
I
to
agree
talk
with that.
about respecting women, they are not going to respect us in the manner in which we want them to do.
And that's fine, but I'm just saying that to get back to like what your initial question was of like why are people so upset that like people of color would vote for him and stuff like that. I think it goes back to what Terry was saying. People are just uneducated. They're ignorant people, but that doesn't like affects all of us, but it doesn't affect what my opinion is. Like I'm not gonna get mad at somebody for what they believe in. And unfortunately, Donald Trump is president, and it does affect me a lot, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to live my life and be successful, and men are still going to respect me, no matter what.
That's it in a nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. She said, we got somebody back here who want to spit some little knowledge with us.
We got
Mr.
another
Mark.
audience member that
Another
wants
audience
man.
member.
come in on the comment.
Come on, let's
Mr.
get this.
Mark.
Let's get it cooking.
I really just want to.
Mark in the house, y'all.
Yeah, I'm in the building. GTE. I just want to get to the heart of this whole situation. Like, we live in a capitalist society. Everybody, when Barack was running for president, you realize that there was socialism. Socialism was a big topic on things, right? We live in a capitalistic society. Donald Trump is basically the epitome
Of capitalism. That he is.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm from New York. Donald Trump is broke, right? In our eyes, he's filed for bankruptcy more times than any other billionaire that we have. Donald Trump is a franchise. He's a name. He's somebody that you prop up and you put him up there because as people, you look at that name and it's just like the Rockefellers. You look at that name and you associate it with wealth or success, prosperity, right? So Trump doesn't own Trump plazas, right? They're taking certain Trump plazas, the owners of that are taking his name off of there, renaming it to something else. His name is franchised. So the people that propped him up to get him to this point is that 1% that owns the wealth in our country that needed that name, just like a building in New York City needed that name. So he's just there, his name alone. What we should be worried about is the people that put that name now on America. And it goes back to my brother's point right here. It was economics, and my man Bill Clinton said it best: arithmetic. It was the math, and the mathematics is what put him here because they have way more money. They control the wealth. 24 billionaires live in one building in New York City. Billionaires Row. Right.
But
So
doesn't it basically say money talks and bullshit walks? Doesn't it prove it?
No, that's a proven point. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we're talking about all these other things.
Right.
He could grab anybody by the pussy. Right. No disrespect to women. It had nothing to do with it.
Right.
If any, what was this guy? Not Russ Perot. There was a guy that he was a vice president with George H. Bush. He couldn't spell potato right, and he couldn't run for president. Right. He couldn't spell the word potato correctly, and he couldn't run for president. This dude said, "I'm gonna grab him by the pussy," and still won. Because it had nothing to do with anything he said. Right. America is now a franchise.
Right. And you know what, Candy? He brings up a good point. We talked about, and I stand to be correct because I'm in a studio audience full of educated individuals that know what's going on, but there's still this grasp of people that don't realize. Our audience brought up the fact that it's economics. Don't you know that there is one country, there's a billionaire, and forgive me for not remembering his name. He's part of this culture of billionaires that run the world. I'm not talking about the United States. That's small pennies. And he made a comment last week on radio saying that the ultimate distraction or obstacle to a one world government is the United States of America. And that United States capitalism is going to be the ultimate goal to get this one world government going on by what? The 1% he's talking about. These billionaires. They're the ones running it. We're talking about a lot of them over in Asia. You got a lot of folks running what's going on here.
China.
In China and Russia. There's billionaires that's really marketing. Have you realized that our U.S. dollar has dropped value? I mean, it's dropping real quick now.
Okay.
Because it's no good. But hey, this is part of this Trump administration. We're going to see a lot of more stuff come to fruition in the coming days.
And, let's go ahead. That's a great segment. Let's go ahead and take another break. And we're going to come on right back and talk a little bit more about this Donald Trump. And I'd like to also touch on voting. Why did he get into office? Did it have anything to do with the lack of voters?
I know somebody
We're going to come right back.
All right.
Welcome back to the Candy Internet Radio Talk Show, or the Candy Internet Talk Show. Again, whichever you like, we are still the same people. So I want to first of all say thank you to, again, the PAD Social Club for allowing us to host our show here. We're going to come from different angles, so just stay tuned, and we'll go ahead and get back into this conversation. This is a great hot topic, guys. We're talking about our President-elect Donald Trump. We got some audience members here. We have our guest host, and we're going to go ahead and right before the break, I actually kind of brought a little bit of question to your mind. Why did he get in office? Is it because of the lack of people voting? Or was it because of the 1% that you guys touched on? Do we have anybody? Elijah, what do you think?
Oh, okay.
We got a new guest.
We got the mic ready.
Okay. All right. You're more than welcome to speak your name if you like. That's fine. If not, go ahead and tell us.
I'm
what you
cute.
think.
So, from my perspective, how Donald Trump was able to get elected is because, as we all know, he has the money to, and because the 1% wanted him in office, or he had something that made them want to put him in office at the last minute of the election, because we know, if anyone was watching, I wasn't, because I already knew what was going to happen. And it doesn't matter to me if anyone voted. It doesn't matter which one of them won, because it's choosing the lesser of two evils. If anyone watched the interview with Roland Martin and Dick Gregory,
Dick Gregory called him where it was.
You hear me? Let him know.
Yes.
Immediately. If you choose the lesser of the two evils, you're evil.
You're still choosing evil. Yeah.
and you're part of it. So that doesn't matter to me. And we can talk all day. It doesn't matter if we don't act on solutions to this. And they do not have more money than us, because their money comes from us.
That's a good point.
It comes from us.
Let me chime in. I spoke to different generations, actually. The generations, my parents' age. I spoke to generations my son's age. And I spoke to generation my age. And I have found out that it's a variety of us that didn't vote. You said one thing that just stood out. The generation in our parents' age said, you know what, I didn't like who was in office. We have what I believe are the lost generation, which is my son's age generation.
The millennials.
Where there's a lot of conspiracies. They're thinking that, you know what, my vote don't count, etc., etc. But in my point of view here, with the whole entire situation when we're talking about voting, someone actually dialogued with me and said this, and I really did not understand it, and the impact. I don't care whatever was said before this, it really impacted me in a different way. Someone in my generation said, do you realize that we are the first full generation that actually had our equal rights? And I had to think back, and I'm like, you know what? That's true. And that was really something that.
Been equal.
Well, I'm talking about as far as the voting, the voting act, the voting law. When did it get seriously put into place? When was that last final that
It's-
stamp on it.
but
But it's
19
still
what?
up for
19.
debate depending on how,
Okay.
on the matter of
But-
time. It's in
They fight it
increments
all the
that we
time.
have
Oh,
rights.
but what I'm saying
Georgia
is,
fights it. North Carolina fights it. They put things in place. They're trying to make sure that you can't even drive a bus from a church
and I get that. What
to the
okay.
voting polls on Sunday because they know that's an African American vote.
And I
They're
understand
there's
that.
certain things that they're trying to do. Whatever you thought was fought and won, we have not won that.
Oh, I never
We
said that
haven't
the
even
fall is
got-
the fight is over. Never said
This
that.
generation has not experienced equal rights when it comes to voting.
Never said
Not
that.
even. I thought that's what I heard.
What I'm saying though is that when the act went into place in the 70s, and you know we have people around here that were born before that. We do have we're like the gung ho people. We're the gung ho generation that wants to. I want to vote, no matter who is in there. And this is what my opinion was about it too. Whether or not you agree with whoever it was that was elected, my thought was this was something that we could not do at one point. Our families could not do at one point. So to me, going in and just exercising the right to, you could put down, hey, I don't even want to vote for anybody, but you exercise that right to because it was not given to us at one point. Now, I'm glad it's not legal or illegal, but it's your right to vote if you choose to. But in my opinion, I think that we all should have.
And you know what, you bring up a good point, but then there's you represent a certain majority. There's many that feel like what happened in the past is irrelevant because my knowledge supersedes the statute that was enacted. So what, you give me a little privy to go vote for one man, but I'm knowledgeable beyond your system to know that I'm the one driving this train here. So it's irregardless of who's in office and who legislation you pass to say that, because I'm a person of color, I get to go down there and pick a check. Woo-de-woo. We're in a nationality and a stage now that people's knowledge has superseded the system. So they're not a part of the system anymore. Q just brought it up. You got people that have become more knowledgeable than the ulterior motive thing that wants to prey on our ignorance that keeps us running to the voting booth to pick who we want. Because see, they use the black vote to catapult their own political agendas.
I would say this. I strongly disagree.
Okay, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
The reason why you see us getting killed by the police and then walking away, the reason why our schools look the way they do, the reason why our roads in our communities look the way they do, the reason why we don't have equality when it comes to a lot of things that need change in our community is because we don't vote. The problem is we think and assume that the presidential election, our vote doesn't count, but that doesn't matter. Where it matters is
congressional.
It's the congressional. No, our local elections, not even the congressional. I'm talking about the local elections, your school board, your sheriffs. Your local elections are what change our community. And we do have the finances. I heard somebody say something about we have more money than them. True. But we don't use it to fund political candidates. And if we do, they are now answering to us. So the way that we change our community, the way that we change our situation is by utilizing our vote in the local elections and not worrying about
I got you, Isaiah. But where's Martin of my day?
Elijah.
Where is Elijah? Where's Martin Luther King of my day? Where's the one that I can invest in? It's so much corruption, not only in quote unquote white America.
The people that we're voting for are institutions. And she brought up Andre Carson, which I like Andre Carson. I've seen him outside. I've never voted for him, right? But I've seen him outside. Ben Carson is an idiot, so please don't bring his name right now. He's a fucking idiot.
That's your opinion.
The dude is he went on national TV and he said that Donald Trump is going to be the best president when Donald Trump was the first person that tore his ass down. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can't tell me that
That's
Ben Carson
a
has
political move. They want you to take that reign right there.
You could read a book all day,
I don't care nothing
right?
for
You could pass the test
I'm not- I
all
don't do
day, and you
nothing
could
about
be a
politics.
doctor.
I don't care
You
who
could be
you
a
are.
PhD. You could be anything you want. But knowledge that you get, wisdom that you get, is from the things that are around you. Not the shit that you read, not theory.
I
right?
got you
So
on
I'm gonna
that.
take that doctor off his name, and I'm gonna call him bullshit Ben Carson.
But check this out.
So now back to
There
my
is
original
some
statement.
knowledge that all of us are not privy to all knowledge. There are some things that
He was
he's
political.
privy to that we're not privy to about that underhanded motivational why he's saying what
that
he's
goes
saying.
back
He
to
may
the
not even
economics.
believe that.
That goes back to the economics. Okay, so that's money. He don't care about us.
There
This is
we
what
go.
I'm trying to tell you.
That's what it's all about.
People like Andre Carson are an institution, right? They're here. They're grandfathered into our situation, right?
Most political
The thing
are
is,
grandfathered into a
Grandfathered
movement
in.
already
They're
established.
grandfathered into our situation. If we're gonna do anything different, we're gonna have to stir the pot a little bit different than what we're doing, because all we're doing is kowtowing and bowing to the same bullshit.
That's what they did. That's why they got Trump in there, because he's not a politician.
I mean,
He's
You know what?
something different.
Oh, go ahead.
Forget politicians. Politicians is what got us here today.
But you sitting right next to a man that said that we were so ignorant that we
I'm gonna
neglected
prove-
politicians
let me
so
say-
much that we
I'm gonna-
forgot about the election
I'm
of the
gonna
school
prove
board
it.
where it's
No,
at.
that's what I'm saying.
Watch this.
Politicians.
Let me
They're all
prove to you.
politicians. Go ahead.
Let me prove to you the blueprint works. Okay?
Mhm.
The gays and lesbian, LGBT community. What did they do? They came together, funded political parties, political candidates, and got change
That's right.
in
That's
their
right.
community.
That's
And
right.
They
But
even
how
got,
long have people of your color been singing the same song?
We
don't
have-
come-
we have
Lord,
never-
let's come
but-
together.
but we
let's
have
come
never-
together.
no,
we
we
over
have-
here
no,
and we
no.
haven't done
we
it.
have never done it.
Last
because-
person was assassinated. That was back in
No.
'68. I'm sorry.
No,
That's
no,
the last
no, wait a
activist
minute.
that stood up
It wasn't.
for the culture of black people
It
willing
wasn't.
to take the strikes
It was
against
not.
they had
Hold on.
the
You know
million
what?
march.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you
They
this.
had the million
I'm gonna tell you
march.
this. I'm gonna tell you
But
this.
who
Hold
was
on.
the
You know
one still
what
speaking?
activists
It's
that
over.
we
Million
have
march
right
is
now?
over. What else? What happened?
Hold on, Terrence.
Done.
Terrence. You know an
So you
activist
looking
that we
for
have right
Martin
now?
Luther King.
His name is
That's
Killer
what you're
Mike.
looking
Killer Mike. Exactly.
Killer Mike, the rapper.
You have
Because his name, because his name is
Yes.
Killer Mike, you ain't accepting him.
No.
I don't know who he is.
You got Killer Mike.
I don't
You
know
got
who
Dr.
he's an
Claude
activist.
Anderson. You got Claude Anderson. You
We
Come
got
on,
have
man.
Dr. Claude Anderson.
yeah.
Come on, man.
You have
We have activists.
you even have
It's
Minister
just you're not
Farrakhan.
accepting them.
Black people
Nobody
have not
listening to
because
them.
none of them
Because they're not on TV
No,
with
no,
a Bentley
that's not
or
what
a
it is.
Maserati
That's not what
truck.
it is. I'll
That's
tell
why
you.
these young folks
No,
ain't
no,
listening to them.
no, the
And
reason
these
why-
old folks don't understand them because of their name.
The reason
Killer
why
Mike-
they're not accepting them is because they're not coming out of the church. That's why.
That's
Yeah,
part.
that's a big
That's
part.
a big
Now, that
part.
is
No,
a big part.
that is- that is-
Even
I
tell
get
people
that.
that is a huge part.
Most
It's
of
cross-cultural.
these,
You're right.
most
That's
of
right.
these people are coming out of an Afrocentric basis, which our people have not accepted. So when they come out from an Afrocentric perspective, we shun them off and say, "Oh, they want them crazy back to African people."
Right.
Where is my leader coming out of the church?
They didn't accept Jesse Jackson either. They didn't accept who was that other one that looked like Don King? The one Sharpton, Al Sharpton.
Al
You know,
Sharpton.
That's why
But
they.
we
That's
come with
why
so
they
much
got.
We got Dr.
You know, that's why they crossed over. That's why they crossed over. Right now,
They got a lot of leaders out here, but we're not accepting them
Yeah.
because they don't come out of the
Listen,
One of our
well,
issues
you
is that
true,
we're
but
looking
then
for a
they-
leader and we don't need one. We need a collective.
Well,
We need
there you
unity.
go.
We don't see
There
the
you go.
leaders.
It's in
And
numbers. That's what we're
everyone,
saying.
most
It's in
of us,
numbers.
the majority
It's
of
in
us,
numbers. Yeah.
when there is someone that's willing to come forth, we want to throw salt at them and just give them backlash
Hey,
because
Terry,
their
this is what I'ma
ideals
do.
are not are all of their views are not our views.
This is what I'm
Right,
So,
and
so
that-
they're wrong or they're crazy or whatever. At the basis of anything, the foundation for us, for wealth, for growth, for humanity, the foundation for us is broken.
Right.
It is broken.
Right.
And we
That's a
refuse-
societal
we
structure.
don't-
The
we don't-
societal
we don't
structure is
trust
broken.
each other. We
Hold on.
don't
The
know each
societal
other.
structure. You
We
got
don't-
what's
we
going
don't
on.
depend on
Between
each other.
us.
We
You're
don't.
right.
We don't
You're
buy
right.
from each other. We
It's
don't.
because
we're
the
into
society has let us down.
First
It
off,
really has. I'm telling you.
Society
Come on,
didn't
man.
let us down. Society.
No, I'm
not
talking about
society.
the creation. Why do you have 10th Street? This whole 10th Street. You can look at what's called the broken. When I'm talking about their criminologist theorist that brings up this, we will take a.
Welcome welcome back to the Candy Internet Radio Talk Show, Candy Internet Talk Show. Oh my gosh, guys, this last segment was off the chain. It was so off the chain that we had to actually take it off camera. And guess what? I got you some additional information. Be on the lookout at www.candyproductions2.biz. And then we want to say one more time, thank you to the Pad Social Club. Woo! Give it up, everybody. I'll tell you, this topic was so hot that we're going to have to continue this as a part 2, maybe 3, 4, or 5, because this is not a subject that's going to ever die. So I want to give extra special thanks out to my guest host, Terry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Elijah.
Kiki.
Kim?
What
Did I call Kiki? Kiki.
No.
Kiki.
Kidney.
Kimmy. Edit it. Kimmy.
All right, we want to thank our studio audience. Woo! All right, guys, again, we want you to log in to www.candyproductions2.biz and check us out for extra comments. I want your comments, guys. I really need your comments because we all do not agree on this subject. We do not agree on this man. So I do want to hear what you got to say. All right. Well, thank you again for tuning in, and we'll be back next time. But most of all, I said most of all, I want to thank you, my audience. Come on back. I said come on back. Come on back.
Kick it. It's Candy. She's just so candy. It's